UFOs back at the same time next week. This is Late Night Late. A very good morning. Very shortly we'll be joining the Night Network crew, but right now it's my pleasure to welcome to Late Night Late Simon Bamford.
Hello.
Simon, hello.
Hi.
Welcome along.
Hi.
Nice to see you. Simon, you've brought very kindly along with you this morning some of the new board games and some of the new games for 1988 that are out on the market.
Yes, I think we've got a fairly representative selection here.
If perhaps you're up, you're back in after a night out on the town, or you've had a party, or you're perhaps working through the night, and you like playing these games with your mates and whatnot, thought we'd have a look at some of the new ones available to you this morning. And Simon, the first one we've got, called Therapy.
That's right, yes. It's basically a journey through human nature, starting with infancy, progressing naturally enough through childhood, into adolescence, adulthood, and finally seniority.
Right.
You are equipped your own couch with which you move around the board. You have your very own therapy office.
Oh, wonderful, these little things,
So
aren't
everyone has a chance to be both a therapist and a
Right.
patient. So if we started you off and you were, say, the blue guy, so you're
Right.
in your blue therapy office, and you roll the dice.
they? Right. Shall we have a go at this?
Like most ball games, we still roll dice.
No, me. I'm going to chuck these all over the floor now. There we go. Let's try and throw them in the centre.
Throw them in the middle, you
And
can't
we've got a
see
what?
them.
A 9.
Fine. Okay. Well, let's move that one out of the way. Say you land on insight.
Right.
I would ask you a question on insight, and that would be: who
Yeah.
smiles more often, the average baby girl or the average baby boy?
What a question. Well, I suppose the average baby girl.
You're absolutely right. So for that, you would gain insight into infancy, and you would gain 1 mastery peg for that particular section, which would be a yellow one. When you get all 6, and that's through discovering various things.
You've
So
got
all
to
you
go
have
right
to
the way
do is
round through
right
our
the way
life.
round, past the finish point, and you've won. There are, however, 2 other ways of acquiring insight. One is by landing on a reality square, which would be over
Right.
there.
Okay.
If I did that, for instance, I would ask you, I think these are fairly unique in board games, I'd show you a think blot, which would be something like that. And the question would be that, what do most people see in the think blot?
Right.
Is
let's
it
have a
A,
look.
a glove puppet, B, a bear or a wombat, C, a glass?
A glass. Right. Well, I mean, I myself think that's a glove puppet.
Yes, you're right. About 30% of people agreed with you. We're 25%
How'd you
for
get
the
a glass
wombat.
out of that?
I don't know, that was only 2%, but
Fair enough.
we
yes.
just ask the questions, we don't come up with the answers.
Okay. Actually, just mentioning that for a moment. I mean, you've asked me a couple of obscure questions there about the think blots,
Yes.
and also the who smiles most, the baby boy or baby girl. How do you find these things out?
With an awful lot of work.
Yeah. Do you sort
there's-
of go and stand on street corners and ask people? or-
we paid psychologists and psychiatrists to pour through sort of masses of documents and
Yeah.
come back with hundreds of questions, with which we probably picked 1 in 10 out of. So
and the result is the
there's a
same.
year's work in here
Yeah.
to get this game where it is. The main thing of the game, though, is actually the playing therapy.
Is this
That
a sort
happens
of
when-
Monopoly type game where you can sit down at 7 o'clock in the evening and still be playing at 7 o'clock the following morning?
No, you're probably looking at more like 40 minutes to an hour
Yeah.
for this game, so
Nice
it's a
time.
reasonable time. Okay.
All right, we've got a lettuce or a cabbage or something there. What is it?
Yes. Okay, we'll move
Should
right
we
along
go
to
and
this
chuck
one.
that over here and
This is,
we'll move it around?
This is actually called Feed Me.
It's like a
And
triffid,
it's,
doesn't it?
A simple game.
Right.
This is
I'm
where you-
intrigued about this, actually. Let's pop
Don't
that over
worry,
there. a
don't
little bit.
worry. Okay.
Right, okay.
All right.
Smashing.
Go.
Explain
Right.
more about this. What
Right.
do we do?
Well, rather than explain, I think the best thing to do is actually play. It's a very complicated game.
Right.
There is a dice with black and red things. You roll that.
Yeah. What's the idea of the game?
The idea of the
Can't
game is
let
to
myself in
put
for
as
anything, yeah?
many marbles as you can in the mouth without it snapping shut in your fingers.
How does it do that?
Well, stop putting the marbles in.
Right, so was it on a pressure thing?
Yes.
So if I touch that,
when the weight
have
gets
a go.
critical. Yeah, sure. Fine. Well, when the weight gets critical, I still jump. I've been doing this for ages. When the weight gets critical, it just goes kapow.
All right.
Like that.
Should we have a game?
Fine.
Go on,
okay,
then you go
right.
first. Right.
Red. The red ones are lighter, actually. Black
Yeah,
ones are bad
that's
news.
right, isn't it? Right, okay. Have a go. No, I'm a red as well. Great. So we just got to put them in as gently as possible.
Yeah,
The idea?
that's the idea. That's
Right.
the idea of the skill, anyway. You get
We're
clumsy.
very
this time,
nervous
right?
towards this, aren't we?
I'm still nervous. I know it doesn't hurt. I'm still getting
Yeah.
nervous.
Right.
Okay.
Have another go. Red.
Black. Oh, I've got a bad feeling about this.
No. Let's have a go here.
Good. And red.
Right. Have a black. Caught
At
me.
least it was get you in the end.
Simon,
Okay.
it's lovely to see you.
That's
Thank you
fine.
for bringing your games in this morning.
Anytime.
We'll talk to you some more, perhaps a little bit later on. After the break, though, it's...
A man is about to get on a plane. Suddenly, he changes his mind. An hour later, the plane crashes. It's dismissed as chance. Northern Texas. A UFO is reported by a dozen people. Although there were no storms, it's dismissed as lightning. Time Life Books announces Mysteries of the Unknown, an important new series that goes deeper into the world of the mysterious and unexplained than ever before. It uncovers the secrets and tells you everything that can be known. Stonehenge. A visitor shapes a wire antenna in an ancient symbol and points it at the stones. A surge of power knocks him unconscious. Was it all in his mind, or much more than that? Experience Mysteries of the Unknown for 10 days free. Then decide if you want to dismiss it. Call this number free to examine Mystic Places free for 10 days. Keep it and pay just $12.95 plus $1.95 postage and handling. Other books will follow about every 6 weeks on the same free trial basis. Cancel at any time. Phone now on 0800 444 111.
How would you like to pay off your debts and halve your monthly payments? Add up the amount you owe on credit cards, store credit cards and HP, then phone Credit Plan free on 0800 850 850. If you're a homeowner, we can give you a secured loan to cover the lot, which could halve your monthly payments, with nothing to repay for the first 3 months. Pay off your debts. Phone Credit Plan free on 0800 850 850. Loans made easy.
Yes, sir. Carlsberg.
Well, Simon, thank you very much for coming in this morning. And thank you for bringing so many of these marvellous games on this Trifid or Cabbage, whoever it is. Nice to meet you.
Okay, nice to
Right,
meet you.
coming up on Late Night Late, we have Night Network. That's after the news headlines. It's 2 o'clock.
The Duchess of York's father, Major Ronald Ferguson, has been sacked from his job at the Guards Polo Club, according to a report in the Daily Mail. It says a group of management consultants criticised him for the way he ran the club's budget. The paper says he's also lost his place on polo's ruling body. Tonight, Major Ferguson said he had nothing to say to ITN. No one at the Guards Club was available for comment. There are signs of a settlement to the 10-day-old postal dispute. The two sides have had 40 hours of talks, and they'll carry on talking over the weekend.
I understand the peace plan includes some concessions from the post office on the basic dispute over selective bonuses. The post office said it paved the way for an end to the strike, but the union immediately attacked reports suggesting agreement had been reached as wrong and mischievous. Alan Tuffin, the postman's leader, will meet management again over the weekend. He says that's to ensure there can be no misunderstandings, and he's called his executive again for Monday.
England's winter cricket tour of India is almost certainly off after political pressure inside India. Players who've been to South Africa, including the England captain Graham Gooch, aren't being granted visas.
Graham Gooch, the man at the centre of the storm because he'd been so closely identified with South Africa, breaking his contract with Western Province to accept the captaincy, was saying nothing. At Gloucester, young men who would have been making their first tours, like Sid Lawrence and Jack Russell, were equally reticent. They at least had never been to South Africa. It was no fault of theirs.
When does this leave international cricket?
Well, I think we must just consider that over the next few days, next few weeks. It clearly is a very sad and a very bad day for international cricket.
Sailing and off the coast of San Diego, California, the United States has, as expected, retained the America's Cup after winning the second straight victory in the best-of-3 series against New Zealand. The American yacht Stars and Stripes, a 60-foot catamaran with a rigid sail, crossed the finish line more than 21 minutes ahead of New Zealand's huge monohull yacht. Despite the champagne reception by Dennis Conner and his crew, New Zealand are still threatening to challenge the eligibility of the American boat in the courts. And that's all from this bulletin. I'll be back with more news later in the morning.
340. Tested by dummies, driven by the intelligent.
When you're on the move, be busy. Time for something fresh and fizzy. When orange fizzes, it's Fanta. Right down to your feet, right up to your nose. When orange fizzes, the pleasure shows. When you buy new brands, it's a sparkling feel. When it tastes this good, it's got juice appeal. When orange fizzes, it's Fanta. When orange fizzes, it's Fanta.
If your windscreen's in need of a fix, in the city or out in the sticks, we'll be here to fix it. Call 0800-363-6366. It can happen any day, on a B-road or a motorway. For windows and windscreens, call 0800-363-6366. We'll be here to fix it. Call 0800-363-6366.
An ordinary conditioner used with your dandruff shampoo could rinse some of that dandruff protection down the drain. New Head & Shoulders conditioner gives your hair more dandruff protection, leaving it easy to comb, easy to manage. New Head & Shoulders conditioner works with your shampoo, not against it.
You prisoner of war. This way. I'm Brussels sprouts. Right?
Right.
Hey, what happened to that girl?
Oh, well, through my clever manipulation of her heartstrings and my masculinity and my persuasiveness, she
jumped out the window.
Well, you know what I always say.
What?
Behind every dark cloud, there's usually rain.
Welcome once more to Night Network.
Yeah, the show where we keep it up and we keep it late.
The show where I bring you the best of what's happening in the other charts in the Lonely Charts Club.
All right, and I meet and greet the sweets Brian Connolly, Godley and Cream, and Eamon Dunphy, Millwall footballer turned U2 biographer.
Watch out for the press game, plus an excellent session from Clive Griffin. You saw him last week at the Night Network party, and tonight he plays live.
Well, why don't we get on with it then?
Well, we haven't mentioned the Monkeys yet.
The Monkeys?
Huh.
Well, we have now.
Well, as they say in Ballroom Blitz, let's go!
Yeah. Hey, hey, it's a wonderful thing. I simply stay there today. Oh, what's the matter with me? I can't get you out of my head. Oh, baby. I can't get you out of my head.
it up, keep it late with Night Network.
There you go, Muck Shaw there from Then Jericho saying keep it up, keep it late, and hello, welcome to our first national Night Network MBTV. Now, each week from our fabulously newly decorated penthouse suite, we bring you music, chat, videos, TV and films, and popping in tonight will be Godley and Cream with news of this Sunday's Sport Aid Run the World events. We've a 70s flashback with Brian Connolly from the suite. And first up, a real all-rounder. Now he's made his name as an international professional footballer, a respected journalist, and more recently, the man who wrote this book, The Story of U2, The Unforgettable Fire. A big welcome to Eamon Dunphy.
Good evening.
How are you, okay?
I'm in good form, Nick. How are you?
Good, good, good. Thanks for coming over. First of all, I suppose the first question, I suppose you've been asked this a million times, how did a footballer and a journalist get asked